What's up, guys? I'm J-Man, and I thought I'd do something different this time. As a lover of not just filmmaking, but the visual medium of storytelling in general, I've always felt that videos set to songs, or music in general, is a perfect marriage of conveying feelings and thoughts through the visual aspect. So for this first installment, it's the Tears for Fears song, The Tipping Point. The song was released 17 years after the band's last and supposedly final album in 2004, and is also the title track for their new album itself. So I'll be breaking this down into two parts. There's the actual meaning of the song based on how I interpret it through reading of the original artist's intention, and my personal viewpoint of it, particularly the music video. So Roland Orzabal originally wrote the song after the passing of his wife Caroline, who was suffering from some alcohol-related sickness and, as he says it, was becoming a ghost of her former self. He remembers being at the hospital ward where she was kept and seeing all the other patients and wondering when they were going to reach that tipping point when life ends and they enter into that distant void.
So the song is really about when do you let this person go? When do you grieve while they're still alive, or do you just build up resentment? Do you grieve while they're still alive, or do you grieve when they're gone? And when do they go? Because you can sit there and watch them really, really close to death, but you don't really, they never really go because they live on in your memory. That's the least of it. So that's what the song is about, and that's how it came.
The opening of the music video itself illustrates the whole point of the song. We see a vase full of flowers, possibly representing life itself, beautiful and delicate. The shadows on them seem to move, showing time passing. Then, as the end of the table gets closer, this represents death inevitably approaching, until finally, the tipping point, when it falls and life itself reaches its conclusion. The video mostly takes place in this flying house with a man and woman floating inside, possibly representing two lost souls floating in their home. Or the house itself could represent their respective graves or caskets. Some ways you can tell this is that whenever the door opens, it's radiant with light and at one point has a Christ-like image in front of it, representing the threshold of heaven. Also, when they leave the house, we then see a ghostly image leave the ground, clearly representing them leaving their respective graves and have begun to ascend. When we see the vase again, it spins on the floor, showing the clock on life slowing down and then eventually stopping. After it stops, a shadow of a soul floats over it and then begins to fly out the window. When the music begins to reach a high point in the middle where they keep repeating the title of the song, we see a woman standing perfectly still and then, like the vase, begins to tip over and fall. Soon afterwards, the two souls float out of the house. They seem to revolve around each other, possibly showing them as two lovers ascending into eternity together. The video ends with them disappearing into the clouds and crossing over into that threshold of that vague and distant void. So that was what I think the actual meaning of the song was. Please let me know down below if you think I missed anything. Now this next part is going to be how I personally view this song. This is my first take of it without actually looking up anything by the original artist. Take it for what you will. So the song to me sounds like it's about a seance. The song's narrator, as it were, is trying to banish these ghosts from this person's home. Silver tongue, they'll soon be gone, when the sunlight hits the room. When the sun comes up, they will leave this dwelling that they haunt. Lay down with them if you want, watch their breath and feel the cold. It's sometimes thought that when spirits inhabit a place, there's a ghostly chill and the temperature turns cold. Winter's done, they'll soon be gone, from this unforgiving place, to that vague and distant void where the sunlight splits the eye. The chill is now gone and they are beginning to leave this place that doesn't want them and are starting to cross over into the light. The chorus almost sounds like it's from two different perspectives, the person who owns the home and the ghost haunting him. Judging from the higher-pitched second voice, it sounds like it may be the ghost of a loved one, or simply a spirit in love. It really gives it this haunting yet darkly romantic feel to it. Plus, the song was released around Halloween, so that boosts it even more. The song itself really evokes this yearning feel to it, where it sounds like it's about loving someone and not being loved in return. Like someone is so desperately in love with you, but you just don't love them back, no matter how much they haunt you. Or the flip side could be that it's about the aftermath of losing someone and they still haunt you in your own mind. You still hear their voice, you still feel their presence, but eventually learning to let them go and crossing into the unknown where anything is possible. It's about the tragedy of loss and yet the reassurance that everything will be okay. So that was my personal take on The Tipping Point. How do you guys interpret this song? Whatever it is, don't be shy, leave a reply. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and please support me on Patreon. All links are down below in the description. And of course, if you like this video, you can like, comment, and subscribe to the J-Man. Keep looking deep.